Hey, welcome to Witching Hour Tarot. Happy Saturday. I think we are approaching Sunday on the East Coast with 20 minutes to midnight. I hope everyone's been having a fabulous weekend. I have changed my setup in my apartment a little bit, and I'm trying this more natural lighting. I'm not sure how it's going to work. I think I'm going to air this regardless, but to be determined whether or not I like it. But, again, happy to be here, wishing the best to everyone. Wanted to get into a reading for the collective tonight. Just see what's going on. I do think I want to start with my other deck, though. I'm just gonna shuffle this one just for fun. So let's see what's going on in the collective tonight. Again, happy weekend to everybody. Hope things are great in your world. Right. I did shuffle all the cards before I got on air as well. So I think that there's a pretty decent state of probability. Not just, seeing the same cards because I'm an inadequate shuffler, but saying that's not the case. Alright, what's going on in the collective? Let's take a look. The stars. Yeah, so this is a really, it's actually one of the most psychic cards in the deck. It's funny that this card actually showed up. Like, I have a spiritual friend, and we're very into, all the esoteric things. He's very into crystals and that kind of stuff like that. And I'm more naturalistic and into tarot than he is. But he recently, he always buys me these gifts, and he recently got me this gift where it's a star necklace. So maybe you have a very dear friend and, it's totally platonic, maybe not in this image, but, my relationship with my friend is totally platonic, but you're just so happy that you have them as a friend in your life. And there's a lot of, it's a very reciprocal relationship. You both give to one another in the same amount, and, they're always kind of just looking out for one another. So it encompasses that kind of feeling, all things magical, all things mystical, all things spiritual. It's Aquarian energy. Aquarius season, I think, is coming upon us. I think we are still in Capricorn at this moment. And I think we're also planetarily, we're in the season of Aquarius. It's funny, I have a dear friend who's an Aquarius, and my dog is also an Aquarius, so my uncle was an Aquarius as well, so I feel like I'm surrounded by a lot of Aquarian energy. And it's kind of funny, you think that just based on like the I don't think, is genealogy the right word? No, probably not. Like the verbiage of how words can evolve over time. I forgot exactly. Epistemology. I'm going to stop for a second and I'm going to pause and look it up. So the word is actually etymology. I'm not totally wrong in my, in the E aspect of it. I don't really know what the word is derived from. Probably Latin of some sort. But with that being said, it's interesting because Aquarius, aqua, it has the etymology of it is very water-based, but it's actually an air sign. Air signs are typically the logical thinkers, the very practical, the doctors, lawyers, accountants of the world. Very organized. The star also does remind me of the Fountain of Youth in a lot of ways. In the original rider weight deck. You can see it's kind of just like a profile of a woman leaned over a pond of some sort. And I always kind of interpret it as like, you know, what the fountain of youth would look like, you know, so very, you know, all the things that escapism might be here as well. You know, looking for ways to find, you know, very dreamy, you know, looking for the superficial, the supernatural, not superficial. Looking for the supernatural. Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, so the Nine of Pentacles is actually, a lot of people equate it to the pre-empress card. I'm sorry. I'm like, you know, I'm butchering my words tonight. I had a little bit of wine, so I don't think that helps. But it's Pentacle energy is earth energy, so Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. This is quite an interesting image. You know, he's kind of cutting off a piece of her hair to keep for himself. So definitely idolization here, idealization too as well. So it's of your ideal, you know, your ideal idol, let's say. With the star energy, it's very also, you know, divine, feminine energy. The Nine of Pentacles, again, the Nine of Pentacles is like the pre-empress card. So, you know, basically being all set on your own, having everything you could possibly need, you know, all your comfort, all, all of your resources and your needs are fulfilled. And you're kind of dismissing that last pentacle, which typically is like love, I think, in a lot of traditional kind of tarot readings. I'm sorry, I'm fiddling with my camera. I think, you know, it tracks sometimes, but I'm not sure if I'm hitting it maybe I should back it up a little bit. And for the record, my layout here, this is like a tarot mat. It's felt. It is Gustav Klimt's Life and Death, or Death and Life. I really love Gustav Klimt. He's probably one of my favorite contemporary artists. I think he has the Golden Lady hanging somewhere in either the MoMA or the Met in Manhattan. But so, you know, what's really interesting about these very famous like contemporary artists like Gustav Klimt, Henri Rousseau, Henri Matisse, Picasso, is that I forgot exactly what their art. It's not like idealism. It's not even that. It's something else. I forgot. Anyway, but the point is that it's very, they have a spiritual-esque, even like Dali, I think it's all in the same kind of realm. There's a very spiritual element to paintings, and capturing something that is probably even hard to put into words. You know, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and you might not even be able to enunciate most of it, you know, if it's someone like me, for example. You know, so there's the mysterious here as well, you know, the things we can't see or describe. All right, let's see. Ace of Cups. Yeah, so the Ace of Cups, it is water energy, obviously. So Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. In the tarot of sexual magic, you know, a lot of people see this as like having your wishes fulfilled, your dreams fulfilled. You know, it definitely symbolizes love in a lot of ways. This is a really romantic kind of love-making depiction on this card. Very sweet, nothing raunchy, nothing, you know, very pure. There's a purity to it. You know, that's the thing too with the star here, is that it's a very pure energy. Even with the Nine of Pentacles, very pure energy here out on the table. Yeah, the Hermit. So we've been seeing the Hermit a lot. The Hermit is kind of like, I love the word licking your wounds behind closed doors. Like that phrase, I might have combined two colloquialisms, but that's kind of what it entails. Like being very retrospective, keeping to yourself, kind of in hibernation mode, reflecting, making your, finding your spirit again, and also kind of an enlightenment is involved in the Hermit. Not as much so as like the Hanged Man. I'm missing actually my stand. I bought this lovely card stand. I'll go get it. Yeah, so when I read, I do read with 4 cards initially. I clarify each card twice, and then I do have like the main theme. I like to read it last just to kind of get an idea of what the energy is, and I would like to think I channel better that way, but who really knows. I'm struggling a little bit with my camera this evening, unfortunately. I like to have my spirit baby watching. Let's see. Yeah, death. Yeah, so death is all about transformation, and we did have the Tower in one of my last readings, and I kind of went into detail how we have these natural disasters in the world, and they're horrible, and really, there's so much damage done at the end of the day. But at the same time, in every natural instance, it does kind of revitalize the ecosystem. Maybe not where it's inhabited by humans. I think that it's not the best example. My prayers and thoughts go out to everyone who's suffering from the wildfires in Southern California. But with that being said, there is a revitalization aspect to this card, death, and kind of being reborn again. In my other deck, it's actually out on the table. We're going to see it later today. There's Santa Muerta, which is a depiction of death. I had never really understood how to interpret it because it's kind of like a pregnant Santa Muerta. And I kind of took it as a Virgin Mary. So definitely also like paradoxes, like things don't really make, like things that are that don't necessarily make sense when you first look at it at face value. A lot of mystery too out on the board with the Hermit and the stars and death. A lot of things that are left unsaid, left unknown, but purity too. And, there's definitely a very beautiful kind of earthly innocence here. There's no corruption on the table right now. None of the 7 deadly sins are out on the table. Maybe besides lust. I went out recently with my group of friends, and I've been going out for some time, and there's this gentleman who came up to me and was brave enough to introduce himself to me, and he really liked my hat, and he was just complimenting my hat and just trying to get to know me more. So definitely idolization here. The 4 of Pentacles. Yeah, so I don't think we've seen the 4 of Pentacles in one of my readings yet. The 4 of Pentacles it's all about stability. Like 4s are all about equality, stability, equilibrium. Like think about a desk or a table or, a chair, anything that relies on 4 pegs, 4 legs, 4, it's very stable energy. But with that, there's also a stubbornness to it. There's an inability to change with the stars and the 4 of Pentacles. I mean, someone might think a little too highly of themselves here as well. Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, so there's definitely a proud piousness on the table right now. You know, the Queen of Pentacles, I like to think she's like the triple threat, can sing, can dance, can act, but you know, maybe she's missing the, you know, the oomph that a Queen of Wands might encompass, or, you know, missing that flavor, but is very regimented, very stable, very successful, you know, has kind of everything that you could possibly need, is a wife, you know, with the four of Pentacles and Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, there's definitely a very strong, stable feminine on this table tonight. The Five of Cups. We have been seeing the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is always, it's like being left out in the cold, seeking charity and not receiving it. Seeking charity and not receiving it. It is, oh, I'm sorry. You know, I always confuse it with the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Cups is about disappointment, you know, remorse, you know, crying over spilt milk, like that kind of thing. Like, you know, looking at the past and kind of seeing, you know, all the things that you did wrong and you would have changed at this point. So maybe someone's feeling regrettable about a certain love situation, you know, with wish fulfillment here, regrettable about saying no perhaps to wish fulfillment, and, you know, very stable feminine energy on the table. Due to pride, due to, you know, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. The Chariot. Yeah, so we've actually been seeing the Chariot in my readings. The Chariot is typically on the traditional, on the Rider White deck, you see the Emperor kind of, you know, full speed ahead. And what I do hone in on is how the immense amount of symbology in the Chariot, from Egyptian hieroglyphics to Judaism to, you know, Christianity, Italian, Roman, you know, Greek, like, you know, all of those really ancient cultures, and the symbology that each depicts is in the Chariot. So there's definitely a lot of syncretism here, you know, mixing of things, mixing of cultures, mixing of ideologies, realizing that there's more than one way to kind of operate on this planet, especially with the Hermit here. You know, the Hermit actually reminds me a lot of the fable of Socrates. Where the man, I think it's Socrates. It might be I'm not sure. Don't quote me. But there's an ancient philosophy, ancient philosopher, and it's like the fable of the shadow of the man in the cave or something like that, where he becomes aware of his own shadow. You know, so definitely sort of, you know, philosophical, spiritual enlightenment here with the Chariot too. You know, really kind of ready to take everything by the reins and take control of the situation, like not really wanting to be, you know, stuck in remorse, like not wanting to, you know, be stubborn about it anymore, ready to kind of, you know, find your wish fulfillment. Ace of Swords. Yeah, ain't that the truth? The Ace of Swords is again is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. It is air energy. It is the logic, the truth, the practicality to the world. You know, spoken truth, written truth, hidden truth. There's definitely truth out here on the table tonight. Hey. Yeah. Typically I do have my camera kind of raised, but I'm trying new things, trying to find more adaptable things that make a little bit more sense to me and how I live my life. All right, so what's clarifying the stars and the Four of Pentacles? Let's see. Yeah, this is my Santa Muerta card. Yeah, it is. Day of the Dead themed from Mexico. The Six of Cups. Yeah, so a lot of people see the Six of Cups as, romantic love. It is a soulmate card normally. It is, finding, you see how there's also a heart on that chest here. It's really having, your love needs kind of met. In the traditional Rider Waite deck, it's like two folks meeting in, meeting in market, meeting in, downtown, or, and they're kind of just interacting. So maybe someone you've had your eye on for a long time, and you've kind of sat watching, unsure of how to proceed, but also having confidence here, having faith here that things are going to work out regardless of what direction either you go in, knowing that there's definitely truth to the feelings that are out on the table. The Seven of Cups. Yeah, but there's been illusion too. Maybe someone's a little obsessive and they don't want, anyone to know how obsessive they actually are, the issues that they actually have, because they know how unhealthy it is. Like, when people say no to you, you really have to learn, like, you have to respect how that, no means no. And, I think there's also so much pressure on masculines in, relationships and stuff like that to be a certain way and like be the knight in shining armor, be the romantic comedy, be, everything that a woman might expect of them. But the reality is like not that at all. Relationships can be very difficult, and power dynamics and male-female relationships, I don't think that they typically play out like they do in rom-coms. Maybe 20-30% of them do, but not a lot of them do not. So I think that there's immense amount of pressure on masculines, and when they're suffering from mental health issues or other breakups or financial struggles, and they find a feminine that they like, that likes them too, but they're like really not in the position to commit to them and give them what they want. They they're kind of what the player energy is derived from. It's like that kind of not meeting that dynamic and then being advantageous about it. So but then with the death here, there's also kind of in the Hermit, there's been a lot of introspection. Someone's probably realizing that that's not the way to live, and it's all just an illusion. Like, what's the point if you're not with your Queen of Pentacles, if you're not with someone who you really deeply care about, and like there's so much variety and options in life that we have now. I think we overlook that when we meet those people that are really special to us, that it's not really a common thing, or as common as we might think. Love is everywhere too, like the way it's depicted in the media, the way that it's kind of like what everyone more or less strives for, a loving, healthy relationship, and the foundation that comes with striving for that. The Fool, yeah. So the Fool is the first card in the major arcana in the deck generally. It really reminds me, it's like the ability to wonder. I have a really nice deck that actually has like Ariel in that scene where the Little Mermaid, yeah, where she's out on the rock and kind of like still having her fishtail and everything, and then singing that song, It's a Whole New World, and like wondering about getting feet, and we could be entering a whole new kind of life and a whole new world. The fool's journey, like looking the protagonist in every story that you've ever read or watched, just looking for something fulfilling, life's purpose, whether that be, love, career, money, looking for a different way of existing. The Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, so there's a lot of hard work here on the table too. Someone's definitely, with the Chariot and the Hermit, someone's worked very hard to get where they are, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially, like everything. They've busted their butt to get where they are, and they also, they see how they've messed up in the past and they don't want to trip again. The Chariot again, yeah. So we've been seeing the Chariot so much, and the Chariot again, it's like all speed ahead. Like, it's just actually watching this great movie, Spaceballs, if you've ever seen it. It's such a great movie. It's so funny. It's like based off of Star Wars. It's kind of like what's the word? A mockumentary of Star Wars, maybe a little bit. Yeah, they do break the third wall a lot in that, in Spaceballs, where they're addressing the audience. That's, they call it in film, they call that breaking the third wall. It's so funny. So there's this scene where he's like, he wants to go faster than light speed. And it's called ludicrous speed. It's very ridiculous, but so funny. So there's definitely, a desire to move ahead here on the table. Someone wants to go full speed ahead. There's a lot of positive energy on the table, and a little bit of counting your blessings, counting your, there's a little bit of hesitation here, because someone's just spent so long trying to get to where they are. But it looks like it's worth it, and you kind of just have to have faith and trust the process and trust everything's going to be okay. It's a nice quick reading, under 30 minutes. Love, light, and blessings to you all.